Well, hello, Dan. It is nice to chat with you today and talk about a very interesting article that's going to be coming out in our next Family Systems Journal issue. It's a collection of writings that is being published to honor your 50 years as a scholar associated with the Bowen Center for the Study of the Family. And one interesting thing I learned in reading this article was that you have a doctorate in Germanic languages.
I do.
So, my first question to you then is about the title of this article, Festschrift for Dan Papero, PhD. So, I'd like to know, am I pronouncing this German word Festschrift correctly?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
It's a tradition in the German university system to do something like this. And Jack Butler, who has wide knowledge of these academic traditions and things, came up with this idea.
That is so interesting. I'd never heard of it before. Okay, so my second question then is how did you go from earning a PhD in Germanic languages from Indiana University, which is my home state, by the way, to entering the postgraduate program at the Bowen Center and then earning your MSSW in clinical social work?
Oh God, how many hours have we got? That's a complicated story.
Yeah.
I uh, I simply went from academia and was interested in community mental health, and I started working as a paraprofessional at a community mental health center, and I ran across Murray Bowen under those circumstances, and then I went on and I got a master's degree, master's of science degree in social work, and then started working for the VA, and then on into the Bowen Center.
Hmm. But had you initially thought you would end up an academic in Germanic languages?
I had hoped as a young person to teach at a university, and I'd hoped to be fluent in a foreign language. I picked the wrong field. I would have been much better in a science, but in any event, became clear to me that I didn't want to spend my life being a German teacher. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm not against German teachers, but it wasn't what I particularly wanted to do.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you made that choice because we've been able to benefit all these years from what obviously has been a really wonderful fit for you moving into the sciences and the clinical work. So I also learned from reading this article that you published two books, one of which has been translated into Korean and Russian, but not German. And
Not that I know of.
right, and 24 articles, some translated into Spanish, which is quite an impressive publication record in quantity. And also in terms of the span of time, it looked like it spanned from 1983 to 2024 that your publications have come out, which is total of 41 years. So, what do you think it is about Bowen theory that has kept you interested in it over that amount of time, such that you're still publishing new work over so many new decades?
Many years ago, I was having a conversation with the NIMH scientist Jack Calhoun, and he was talking about the difference between rich and minimal theories. And a rich theory is a theory that provides almost an unending supply of questions to work on, but it's very difficult to do research on it. A minimal theory it sets something out. It's fairly easy to do research on it, but it doesn't tell you very much.
Ah,
And I would consider Bowen theory a rich theory, and I have an engine in me that just wants to understand things more than anything. And so it's a combination of a rich theory with just an unending set of questions, plus this sort of internal drive in me to understand, to figure something out, to how does this work? What's the detail of this? That's kind of kept me going. And when you say 24 publications over 40 years, that isn't that many, really. Um, but I'm pleased with it and glad it's happened. I'm hopefully get a couple more before I'm done. I know there's at least one coming out there that I'm a co-author on, so we'll see.
yeah, and not to take away from other people's publications in other fields or anything like that, but I could imagine that there are fields where, you can churn out more publications because you're sort of, you're looking at it not the way that I think, in the Bowen world, people really apply this to their own lives as well as to the things that they're studying and the application to the world. I think that just must take longer, in some ways to do it right.
Well, I think it does take longer. I mean, first of all, none of us, well, not very few of us working with Bowen Theory have academic appointments, in other words. So there's not time set aside to do this. People are trying to make a living as therapists usually. And so where do you find the time to do this? It's
Right.
for me anyway, this kind of work takes time. I can't just crank them out overnight.
Mhm.
Maybe I could. I've never tried to do that, but I can't seem to keep my attention that long. So anyway, yeah, there's lots of reasons why these things take time and why Bowen Center, their Bowen Theory people are generally working against odds to publish anything, I think.
Right, right. Yeah. So I think that's it's impressive. Well, I have enjoyed our chat today, and I know anyone who reads this Festschrift is going to glean wonderful insights into you and your career from the comments, which include from colleagues Jack Butler, Randy Frost, Robert Noon, Victoria Harrison, and Laura Brooks that makes up the body of the article. So thank you so much for sitting down today and speaking with me, Dan.
Okay, take care.
Take care.